Good evening. Welcome to the January 7th, 2015 meeting of the Gaithersburg Planning Commission. First up is the approval of the minutes from our December 3rd meeting. And I guess I'll note for the record, Mary, let us know that Lloyd, you were out and wouldn't be able to vote on that. So is there a motion, please?
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the Planning Commission meeting minutes of December 3rd.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes 3-0-1. Next up is our record plat agenda. We have 4 of them tonight. I'll read the numbers into the record. The first is RP-5222-2014, Deer Park Lot 22 and Outlot D, Block U. The second one is RP-5411-2014, Washingtonian Center, Washingtonian North, Lot 9 and Parcel A, Block D. RP-5412-2014, Washingtonian Center, Washingtonian North, Lot 7, Block D. And the fourth is RP-5413-2014, Washingtonian Center, Washingtonian North, Lot 8 and Outlot D, Block D. Are there any questions about the plat agenda?
No.
Straightforward.
All right. Then is there a motion, please, to approve the record plats?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the record plats according to the record.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that passes unanimously. All right, next up is our sign permits, and the first one we have tonight is sign-7370-2014, Joe's Beer and Wine at 18507 North Frederick Avenue in the C2 General Commercial Zone. It's an icon sign approval, and presenting from staff is Greg Mann. Good evening.
Good evening, Commissioners. This application comes before the Planning Commission because the sign contains an icon pursuant to Section 24-212J. Signs using icons require approval by the Planning Commission. The subject property is located at 18507 North Frederick Avenue within the Hechinger Station Shopping Center, and the property is currently zoned C2. The applicant is requesting approval to install a 36-square-foot storefront sign located above the entrance of the business. The sign is proposed to contain a pictorial representation of wine bottles and grapes. Additionally, the sign contains a red background with white lettering. It should be noted the proposed sign is comparable in size, materials, and style to other signs located within the shopping center and is in conformance with the city's sign ordinance. With that being said, staff is available to answer any questions the Commission may have.
Okay. Any questions?
That's good to me.
Okay.
Any concerns about the
No.
app? Okay.
No.
And I'm going to say, just for the record, since the camera's pointing, says anyone in the audience would like to comment on this application, and I see nobody. So, Greg, your recommendation, please.
Staff recommends the Planning Commission grant approval of sign 7370-2014 Joe's Beer and Wine icon sign, finding to be in conformance to Section 24-212 of the City Code with no conditions.
All right. Any issues, questions, discussion? All right.
No.
Ready for a motion, please?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we grant approval of sign 7370-2014, finding it to be in conformance with Section 24-212 of the City Code with no conditions.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. Greg, just on a totally tangential question, is that in fact still being called Hechinger Station, that center?
The best of my knowledge, yes,
Wow.
but I'm not 100% sure.
Well, there's a...
I did a lot of research trying to figure out what it's called
yeah,
today.
Okay, great. Thanks. Next up is two sign permits I think we're going to see simultaneously. Sign-7430-2014, Beauty for You at 333 Muddy Branch Road in the C2 zone, and sign-7431-2014, Beauty for You at 333 Muddy Branch Road in the C2 zone. And presenting from staff is Jasmine Forbes. Good evening.
Good evening. This application is for 2 signs located at 333 Muddy Branch Road within the Festival at Muddy Branch Shopping Center. This application comes before the Planning Commission because the pro signs are larger than 100 square feet. Signs in excess of 100 square feet must be approved by Planning Commission as per Section 24-212C. Both signs are identical in size and appearance, therefore both permits will be reviewed concurrently and 2 motions will be required. The applicant is proposing to add 2 new 153 square feet internally lit channel letter signs. Both signs contain the name of the business in red and black lettering. Sign 7430-2014 will be located on the front facade facing the existing parking lot. And sign 7431-2014 will be located in the rear facade facing Muddy Branch Road. The overall signs is consistent with the existing signs within the shopping center, and I'm open up for any questions.
I want to mention, I had sent Jasmine an email earlier in the week asking a couple questions about this, and primarily based on the proposal to put a sign on the back of the building, on the rear of the building, and little precedent in the shopping center for that, and the fact that that particular facade is so close to Muddy Branch Road relative to the rest of the shopping center.
Right.
So what prompted that was not so much the sign being there, it was that it was part of an application asking for a waiver in size. And thinking about how we've often used the logic that if a sign is set back relatively well from a road, then there's some grounds for allowing a larger sign. And that sort of prompted my question, and then Jasmine provided a nice analysis of where in the code this sign basically complied with the sign guidelines or the sign ordinance. So I think what I'm just bringing up is I had this sort of subjective reaction to it. She's provided a pretty good analysis that grounds their application in the ordinance or the code, but we do still retain the responsibility of approving it, and you know that's certainly open for discussion. So I just want to let you know that was kind of been happening for the scene.
It's
Any
following on
questions?
that, I guess we could just say that that sign does, even though it is on the back side of that building, it does face a major, it's not an artery, but it's a major road into that sort of whole series of neighborhoods back behind the shopping center. So it's not a small incidental road. It's also not a residential road in the sense that there's single families lined up along.
This
it.
actually faces Muddy Branch, I believe.
This is yeah, Muddy Branch Road and the NIST facilities.
Yeah, the list, yeah.
Right. So it's a substantial road. It's not
Yep.
just the back of the building, but it's essentially the approach or the front of the shopping center.
That's right.
So it's not a residential road or anything else like that. So I think it's certainly compatible for me, particularly with the speeds that are out there.
But there's a berm at some point, as I recall, over there too, and that just comes above the berm, that sign, so that the doorways and the exits, the back exits are below the berm. So as you're approaching, it's almost street level, that sign. Is there any precedent for that, being so close to the street, the walking area, as well as the highway, and being so low, if you will, to the highway?
I mean, unfortunately, I didn't look at any precedents for signs that big and that close to the.
It's just something to consider, because I do know as you approach on that road, it would appear to be very large. I don't know whether it's...
Right, well, and that was my concern.
Yeah.
I guess, Jasmine, in the case of the sign ordinance, if you would just read back for the rest of the commissioners, the how to calculate the allowable size of the sign and what we're approving tonight.
The applicants allow by right 10% of the building facade, and the applicants occupying the entire building. So they're allowed up to 156 square feet, and the sign's about 153. So
You're saying the entire building?
the
Entire facade that faces-
the building
That
facade.
The building
elevation.
facade, okay, that elevation. And what kind of lighting is there going to be on this? Because I noticed the floor is obviously a different color, but is there a backlighting? Is there any lighting at all?
Internally lit.
It's internally lit.
Internally lit?
It's a channel letters.
Yeah. And that includes the number 4.
Yes.
So I'm sorry, so on that logic, so they're asking for only a modest increase in what the allowable area is, right?
Well, yeah.
Or are you saying,
It's under the allowable
Yeah,
area.
it's under-
But any sign over 100, regardless of the allowable area, has to be approved by the
that's
planning
what I was
commission.
looking for, was that correlation, okay.
I'm sorry.
Good. All right.
My only heartburn on the backside was that it's not an entry, so we always had this discussion about prioritizing signs, the larger, more displayed sign being at the entry, and then informational or directional signs being elsewhere. But I think that this particular building, and I like the way they centered it in the bay and centered it at the peak roof.
Yeah,
part
no,
of it.
architecturally
I think
seems to make
I think it's
sense.
architecturally in the right place, and because of the speed of the road, I think it's justifiable.
Okay.
No one's going to mistake this for.
So here's a technicality. Let's say, a few years down the road, right now the building is designed for probably 3 or 4 tenants. I don't know. There's a bunch of doors on the front of it. It could be cut up into any number of smaller stores. Just hypothetically, if down the road they downsize and then half the building becomes some other business, what does that do to this sign? Because then they don't technically have the whole facade to themselves or the whole elevation.
Which I don't know if I can.
So in other words, it'd be over, but, oh, go ahead, Marty.
Mr. Chair, I believe that, number one, we wouldn't approve any other signs on the backside of this building unless they were all shrunk down.
Right-sized, yeah.
Because they would have to meet that 10%
Right.
rule. I don't know that we have precedent for going and making them take down their sign until somebody else wants to come and
Because in a
put one
shopping,
up.
because this is probably more theoretical than it is a real problem, but given it's a shopping center and we want to build in the flexibility for other businesses to come in there, I think, maybe, we should, and if, I don't know how this works, if we could wrap a condition that they can have that sign there as long as they do in fact occupy the whole building.
Sure.
But if the building were to be re-subdivided, there isn't a by right for that sign to be bigger than everybody else's on the back side. There would have to be.
And Mr. Chair, if I might,
Yeah.
I think we have that ability now. A
Okay.
condition would formalize that, obviously, and we have no objection to that.
Okay.
I just, unless somebody came in with another thing, I don't know that we're out there looking for those kind of instances. But we definitely have it in our regulations to tell them they're not in compliance if they no longer own 100% of that
Okay,
building.
that's fair then.
My guess, I think there's a little downside to that. Not
Okay.
a big one, but I think there's a little downside to that. And I'm assuming, I think it's fairly safe to assume that in the lease, that there'll be that landlord requirement. The landlord will protect themselves to that extent, so that if a new tenant did need to come in and backfill.
Sign comes down, they've got to.
They can reclaim that square footage of signage in order to, be able to
Right.
tenant that additional space. But
Right.
the only sort of small downside I see is if some of that, subtenanting or re-tenanting of some small piece of that space becomes something that doesn't necessarily need signage. Maybe it's the storage piece for the veterinarian that's in the building next door. Maybe it's a beauty supply. They're using additional storage, but it's not the same company. Ownership and lease, is sometimes a fungible line. So
Right.
I don't know how to. There's so many variables in there. I think it's rare that it would come up.
As a practical matter, I don't really see a problem. It was more of a hypothetical, given that,
Right.
down the road, there's things could be
But when we draw a line as a commission, it becomes sometimes a weird thing. Not that I think the city would, abuse it in its enforcement of that condition that we would put on this approval, but it seems like it's not actually getting you what you want, which is you want the landlord to go back and say, well, in the redefinition of this new lease, which is a smaller number for whatever's negotiated,
Right.
I need back a certain percentage of signage in order to be able to have a viable tenant in this leftover space, which would be part of that negotiation. That's what we're trying to encourage, but that's like such a convoluted thing to put in a...
Yeah, and I also don't want to create a situation that's sort of or would undermine the flexibility of actually doing something with the space later on. I don't want to really create a big issue. It's more of a question for the...
Yeah, and small
For
anchors
staff.
are tough. Small anchors come and go, and
Yeah.
it is a tough thing to sign
Yeah,
because...
that's fair.
And I think our regulations do allow us to take care of
So
it.
at an enforcement level, we're covered. We really don't need to encumber.
And we would face the same issue on the front side of the building as well as the rear.
That's fair.
So-
Absolutely, you're right. Okay. All right, good. Any other questions or concerns?
No.
No, I would like to see some of the other tenants possibly put some signs back there and maybe reach the, what Matt would call the funky factor, to have some more signage in the back there and attract more people, because that shopping center has for many years languished. And there have been many tenants in and out of that shopping center, and it's hard to get to. It's difficult to see what's there. and-
There's a little bicycle on the end of the bike shop.
That's true. That's true. That's very true. But more of those, I think, would be very attractive in that shopping center and probably possibly attract new clients. So anyway, I encourage it, and I think I'm for this.
Good. Any other questions?
No, I agree with Lloyd.
Okay, excellent. If not, and again, for the record, I don't believe there's anybody in the audience that wants to comment on this, so Jasmine, what's your recommendation, please?
Staff recommends Planning Commission approval of sign -7430 and sign 7431 of 2014, Beauty for You sign, finding it in compliance with section 24-212 of the city sign ordinance with no conditions.
Okay, any questions?
This is
Oh, go ahead.
one recommendation or two? Can we combine them?
It'll be two.
Two
separate.
Two separate.
Two
motions.
separate.
Oh, it is
okay.
two separate
Yeah.
We
motions.
thought it was one. Okay, you read it as one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You've got both numbers in that recommendation, so
Yeah.
do you really need two? I mean, we can.
Yes.
You want two motions, one for
Yes.
each app? Okay, that's fair.
Painful, but we can't.
What's that?
It's painful, but we can't.
Using up a lot of our time. All right.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve sign 7430-2014, Beauty for You signage, finding it to be in compliance with 24-212 of the City Code with no conditions.
Second.
So moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimously. And then for the second one, please.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve sign 7431-2014, finding it to be in compliance with 24-212 of the City Code with no conditions.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And that passes unanimously. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
I probably wrapped more discussion around that than you wanted to have. You know, sometimes things like that just catch my attention. Okay, next up we have a couple of ordinance recommendations. Recommendation to Mayor and City Council. Caroline, we're going to do these separately, though, right?
Well, in the end, I will need two motions, but we can do the presentation and discussion kind of all together.
Okay.
But it will be two separate motions again, sorry.
So I have a suspicion you're gonna read most of the title of this anyway. So why don't you go ahead and take it from there?
Oh, I wasn't going to.
Oh, you weren't? Okay, well, I'll do
Okay.
it. So this is a recommendation to Mayor and City Council for CTAM-6190-2014 ordinance to repeal and reenact with amendments Chapter 24, the zoning ordinance, Article 11, entitled Off-Street Parking and Loading, subsections 24-218 through 24-222A, and CTAM-6191-2014, an ordinance to amend Chapter 24, Article 1, entitled In General, Section 24-1 entitled Definitions, and Article 5 entitled Site Development Plans, subsection 24-172A-B entitled Minor Amendment Requests.
Perfect.
Now take it away.
These items are on the Commission's agenda for a transmittal of a recommendation to the Mayor and Council. The consolidated joint public hearing regarding CTAM 6190-2014 and CTAM 6191-2014 were held on November 17th, 2014. The Planning Commission held open its record until 5 p.m. on December 17th, 2014. And as you are all aware, the draft text amendments are a culmination of about a year-and-a-half-long effort to review and revise the city's off-street parking ordinance. And the final draft text amendments include input from both the Planning Commission and the Mayor and City Council over several months. You have reviewed these in July, September, and then again in November at the public hearing. There's a clean version of CTAM 6190-2014 in your package as Exhibit Number 15. It is the same version that you saw at the public hearing. There have been no changes made since then, and no additional testimony has been received. And in addition, there is an Exhibit Number 14 for CTAM 6191-2014. There is one slight change since the public hearing version to that text amendment, which is the inclusion back into Section 24-172A B3G of the word minor, which had been removed from the joint public hearing version and has been included back in based on public testimony. If anybody has any more questions about these, I'm happy to answer them.
I had no questions. I'll mention, I said to Caroline, sort of in the spirit of, obscure observations and corrections, that the exhibit showing the parking configurations didn't show our peculiar double line striping. And it was just a recommendation that maybe in the graphic, when it's issued, maybe just show that just to reinforce that we do have that funny requirement in our.
Yeah, we can do that.
I think it's no abstract observation. I think there are a lot of folks that are going to start laying out parking in the city are going to stop at that diagram.
Well, that's the diagram that's always been there, but when
Yeah.
when an applicant comes in, they're provided details
They got all the
from
engineering
Public
details anyway,
Works.
but-
There's
Sure.
lots
Final
of
site plan.
details
Sure.
that are not in the zoning ordinance that we require.
Yeah.
But we can
Final
add
site.
a double stripe.
Yeah.
I think we should be proud of that double stripe and show it
It's unique.
everywhere we possibly can. Who else has double stripes?
That's right.
Start getting letters from cities all over the country now. They're proud of their double stripes too.
Now you won't.
Okay, any questions about the updates?
No.
We did do a pretty extensive discussion of this and
Yeah.
review at public hearing and work session, so I'm not sure we need to address any more issues.
No, I think it's great.
It's good stuff for
good.
the parking calculations especially. I think it's maybe a better way to look at that. All right, if there are no questions, so Caroline, you want to do, I guess, the recommendation?
Yeah, I'll make them as two separate recommendations.
Okay.
Staff recommends that the Planning Commission recommend adoption of text amendment CTAM 6190-2014 to the mayor and city council. And staff also recommends that the Planning Commission recommend adoption of text amendment CTAM 6191-2014 to the mayor and city council.
If there are no questions about the motions, we'll do them one at a time.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I recommend that the Planning Commission, no, let me start over. Mr. Chair, I move that we recommend to the Mayor and City Council adoption of text amendment CTAM 6190-2014.
Second.
So moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. All right, and motion two, please.
Mr. Chair, I move that we recommend to the Mayor and City Council adoption of the text amendment CTAM 6191-2014.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimously. Thanks, Caroline.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good job. Good work. All right, that takes us to our site plan agenda, and we have one of those tonight, and that's for SP-6526, 2014, the Gomez residence at 9 Mills Road in the R90 zone, and this is for a second floor addition and a final site plan approval. And presenting from staff again is Jasmine Forbes. Good evening, Jasmine.
Good evening again. This application is for a site plan approval. The applicant is requesting to build a 1,315 square foot second-story addition to the existing single-story detached house. The property is located on 9 Mills Road within the Browns Addition subdivision and is zoned R90. The application is brought before the Planning Commission for a site plan approval as there is no existing site plan for this specific property as per section 24-168A of the City Code. The proposed addition will add an additional story and increase the square footage of the house by 98%. Here tonight is the applicant, Mr. Gomez, to present the application to answer any questions you may have for tonight.
Okay.
So,
Are you going to run through the application at all, or do you want to just go to the questions?
do you want to explain what we're doing?
Anyway, my house is we love that place. We've been living there since 10 years ago, and we have 2 kids, and so it's too small. It's kind of small now, so we just like to build second floor to make it bigger for our kids and my family. Just we love the area. It's just very peaceful. We love it. It's nice.
Sounds like a good reason to me.
Yes, indeed. Okay. Any questions about the...
No questions.
The elevations are up on the
Yeah.
screen if you want to
Yeah.
refer to those. Now, are the materials, so you're doing a second story that's flush with the lower story, there's no setback or anything, so are you re-siding the whole house to match?
Yes, yes, we're gonna use the vinyl siding.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's just the too old, the one we have now, and I think I'm going to just install the new vinyl siding all the way to the entire
All the way through. Mhm.
area around.
Sure.
Yes.
And how about on the front elevation, will all of the windows be new, will they all be the same?
We're going to keep the existing windows is gonna remain, and just to add the second floor. But anyway, we probably just going to I don't know. We still thinking maybe to replace just we have a bay window.
Right.
It's very old and have a leak. We might replace just for one same size, but just flat. Not,
Right. Okay.
Double hand, similar to the other windows. Yes.
Okay. All right. Any other questions?
No questions.
I was looking in the submission, and the one that was shown up to that one, there isn't a front view I didn't see any front view. I see the side views and the back view, but I don't,
It's the.
Is
Where
that-
the proposed
That's the front.
elevation's the top.
that's the front?
Right.
Yeah,
So that upper right.
Oh,
it's narrow at the front.
it's now at the front?
Yeah.
Okay, I just,
I have a picture in my iPad if you want to. I can
So
show
the-
you.
That's like the existing front. and then
Right.
it comes-
right, so just
Pop
lifting it
the-
up.
pop the
Okay,
lid off
pop
and
it
put a
up, yeah.
second story.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, okay, it's kind of, that was the other way.
It's different than the neighboring properties.
Yeah.
But that's okay, there's a nice eclectic mix of houses in that neighborhood
It's very
anyways.
eclectic.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the front, yes.
All right, any other
Are you okay with
questions?
the windows from an architectural
Well,
perspective?
we'll get into discussion here in a
Sorry,
minute.
I'm sorry.
Any more questions?
No.
Any other questions?
No questions.
Okay. Anything else you want to add to the presentation, or do you want to do the recommendation, Jasmine? It's-
Ready to do the recommendation.
Okay.
Staff recommends Planning Commission to grant SP-6526 of 2014 site plan approval, finding it in compliance with Section 24-168A and Section 24-170 of the City Code with no conditions.
Okay. All right. I think the one thing I'd flag is sort of sort of be a good neighbor. I think you want to unify the whole facade, the front elevation, with the same window types or the same window, not types, but generation. You know, so if you're putting new windows in the top and you might replace one of the bottom ones, they really probably all ought to follow, so that they have consistent frames and consistent sashes and sort of level of quality. You know, one doesn't look like it's out of place. You know what I mean? Like it's 20 years older. The sides, I think you could probably get away with reusing what you've got, and certainly the rear, if that's what your budget, demands. But I'd like to see it unify the front with a consistent window package.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, yes. You mean like matching the windows, I mean the same type of window upstairs and down?
Right, and that they're all replaced, not that,
okay.
they're not, because I think
I
what
would-
you'd find is, go ahead.
Well, I would just add that maybe it's not up-down, because there's two different kinds of windows downstairs. There's a bay and a flat flush, but that upstairs, that they match upstairs at least.
Right.
So
That
they
there's
match floor by floor, that the two upstairs
Yes.
match.
Yeah.
I think it presents a unified facade to the street, to the public street.
Yes, yes.
And then the sides and the back are your business.
Okay. I see.
But the public street edge, maybe those two top windows should be.
Yes.
Because in the end, you want the whole front to look like it belongs together, like it was all put there at the same time and
I see.
all works together.
Yes.
Because that's how the other houses really come off looking. And your house now, it looks like it all
Yes.
happened at the same time.
Do you want to make that a condition?
It's up to staff if they want to condition, or if you want to, we could put work with applicant
Work
to
with staff.
resolve the
Front
windows.
facade
we can-
window.
Okay. So we can move it along with that. Okay.
I have
And-
my neighbors,
Yes.
they did the same thing. The house next to me, like 2 years ago, the owner built the second floor, and he's just, looks the same, the
Mhm.
front,
Right.
front of the house.
Yeah, I think scale and mass, size is very compatible. So I think
There's
this is.
another house that, the third house to the right, they put a brick on the bottom part and siding. It's a different, of course, it's a
yeah.
different shape.
There's some weird houses in there.
That was-
Yeah. There's some weird houses in there. And I, like Lloyd was hinting, I kind of enjoy that when things start getting a little eclectic and they start expressing some personality, and I think that's great. But I think John's comment just about the two top windows or some balance in the facade, your front facade,
I see.
just your front facade, is probably important, I think, for not just for the neighborhood, but for your own value of that house. I think
Okay.
it'll go up if it's a little
Yes,
more
yes.
balanced.
I see. Okay.
Okay. All right. Any other comments?
No, again, I think it's the scale, the way it addresses the street, I think its proximity to the property lines, I think are all great. I think it's very compatible with the neighborhood. It's a
Mhm.
good addition.
Good. I do too.
Glad to see these improvements in the neighborhood. It's great.
So I think what we're proposing is one condition, that the staff to work with applicant to resolve the window design and specification. And I think you've got direction that you can use tonight. Is that enough? Okay.
That'd be fine.
Excellent.
Thank you.
All right. Good. Ready for a motion, please?
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve SP 6526-2014, finding it in compliance with 24-168A and 24-170 of the City Code with the one condition as read into the record.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. Thanks very much. Good luck.
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
All right, that takes us to election of officers that we do yearly at this time each year. Do we want to move forward since Joe?
Without Dana?
We'd wait with
Dan
Danny
and
and
Joe.
Joe, yeah.
It's
I
up
would
to you
wait.
all.
Yeah, I
We've
think
done
we
it in the past, so we have.
You want to go ahead and do it?
Yeah, I would
Okay.
wait.
There's no crisis of leadership. I
Right.
think we can wait.
You want? I said you want to move forward. You said yes. You said we should wait.
I'm saying, no, I'm agreeing, we should wait.
When do you want to wait till the
And-
full commission's in?
Yeah, I
Okay.
voted to wait.
All right.
Wait.
Very good. That's what we'll do then, I guess. You need a motion for that, Frank?
Postpone?
Postpone the
If you have
election.
unanimous consent to wait, that should be fine.
Okay.
The minutes can reflect.
Great, thank you. All right, so we'll do
Have
that
all
one.
motions.
You're exhausted anyway, right, man?
Yeah, I couldn't get a single so moved in there.
Let's see, where are we? From the commission. Matt, may I start with you tonight?
Nothing for me tonight.
Okay.
Looking forward to a great new year.
Yeah.
Some great plans coming up in the city, actually. I think.
Great plans happening already, too.
Happening already.
Lloyd, anything tonight?
I just want to wish everybody a happy new year, a healthy new year, and be safe out there on the streets with the ice and the snow.
Yeah, no kidding.
And I want to congratulate the city of Gaithersburg. You did an outstanding job with clearing the roads. My neighborhood was clear, but 28 was not. So,
Yeah.
great job, thank you. That's it.
The reputation stands, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And I just wanted to mention, I think I brought up at our last meeting, I wanted to see if we couldn't get on the calendar a check-in from staff on the strategic directions of the city and how we might look at some of the planning activities that correspond to that. No particular agenda in mind, but just sort of bring it up and see if there's any interest for either helping on some issues or adding to some of the action items with it.
Well, I think just getting us organized to the point where we know where in each of the elements there's a planning item.
Mhm.
You know, we can sort of, I mean, I'm sure you've got it organized that way so it can help us and we can help you.
Yeah.
We are currently working on that for the city manager's office, and those are due to that office the end of this month, the 23rd, I think.
Okay.
So as soon as they're formalized, we'll bring them
Sounds
to you
good.
for presentation.
Very good. All right, Marty?
I've got just two things, Mr. Chair. Just reminders of joint work sessions. We've got one next week for the environmental element of the master plan. That's the kind of second and final.
And it's sitting on our
go around.
desk here to
Yes,
take with us.
and,
yeah.
Great.
I'm sure you'll enjoy. The suggestions that were wrapped into that came from this group as much as council, and I think staff's done a great job of kind of incorporating those into the draft that you see in front of you. Also, we have a joint work session on January 26th to discuss the CD zone and possible changes in that going forward. Along with that, there'll be a discussion of a more comprehensive rezone that would actually put some of those zoning
For the
into
corridor.
implementation for the
Mhm.
corridor.
Okay.
So just a reminder that those are presenting to the larger joint committee that the recommendations that came out of this body
Mhm.
last summer
Okay.
or so. So, Mr. Chair, from what I understand, you'll be sitting at the table with Rob and helping to present that. So,
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Look forward to that.
So that's all I've got.
Okay, very good. Great. Anything else? All right. Happy New Year. We're adjourned.